Welcome back. Welcome back to another episode of Hormonal Women. So yeah, here we are. We stand at 6. Just a weekend. So yeah, there's a couple of legacy animals in here now because we got Suki and we got Pugsley. First ill-tempered animal we just had to deal with. Well, I had to deal with. She's not normal. Like other times of the year, like you can walk by and you can put your hand on her. But for the couple of days after she calves, I don't think she would run you down, but she'd nail you. She'd hit you hard. While I was processing her wee boy in the pen there, she was making all those noises that strikes fear into all ranchers on the other side of that gate. She didn't try and come over it, that's the difference. But she was making all the right noises, like very protective mama. So yeah, seems to be going good. The calf that was in the workshop, it's one of those things where we've got the calf trying to go onto the mum and the mum kicking at it. Calf's hollering, mum's hollering, and she's running around the pen looking for her calf. And yeah, see, there's the mum there. She's hyper protective. Hey there, bugaboo. That's the first one born. Pyong pyong. There's Pugsley. There's the second last one born there, big 113. And here's the mum. So she's loving on her calf. Long story short, every time I went to draw milk off of her, she would kick at me. That's right, I know, it's quite the story. She would kick at me. What are you doing there, girl? So the night before, when you last saw me, I pulled on her front quarters and she was kicking at me till I got half a dozen pulls on it. And she settled down, but the calf would not go on. Tried helping it, done all the things, all the tricks, would not go on. So that's when I put it in the shop. That's when you last saw us. Next morning, she was still in the pen, so we put her back in the headlock. Same thing, went to draw her off. Draw her milk off, and she was sore. Like, she was kicking at me till I got like half a dozen pulls. And then she was right as can be. And so I tried putting our little... what would be a good name for him? Maybe call him Sideshow Bob. He's just... yeah, he's a case. So... same thing, I fought with him for probably half an hour as I could feel the anger and rage rising in my gut. I said, okay, we're done. So I started taking the clamp gates from either side of mama down. I walked away and the calf went to try and look for the teat at the front of the mum. So I turned him around and he went straight on the nipple. Straight on it. And he drained that side. So then I moved him around to the other side and he went straight onto it. And then he even had to go at a back quarter, which I hadn't even touched, but she let him on. So I put some of that calf bond powder on him. So when I let her out of the headlock, she would kind of lick and sniff at him. She wasn't all that really interested, but left him in there for a little while. And then we had to process Pugsley through, so we needed them out of the way. So we did let them into here, and I saw the calf go near mum, and she kind of kicked at it. And then 10 minutes later went by, and calf was drinking from her. So weird, just weird. I don't know why they do this. Can anyone tell me that in the comment section? When you bring a new mama into the pen, The other ones either will go up and make friends with her or challenge her. It's odd. So, that's where we're at. Yeah, these bulls, honest to gosh. We're coming up with a better plan than this. Because this way that we, hi Cookie, little Cookie. As you can see, they've got this pile going up around the bale ring. So it's starting to get buried. So I'm gonna have to put another bale ring on top and another gate here to keep it separated. But for the most part, oh, I see one of them has pooped in here. For the most part, they've been pretty good. Like I said, you've got 3 in this pen and 1 chungus in this pen. Yeah. So the other background to bull issues are, right now, Pugsley, who is with that pen there, was with that pen there, she looks like she's going to be the only one that had a calf with that ornery a-hole of a bull that we sold. Because we know for a fact, after he went out to that field, he spent the rest of the time up at the gate yelling at all the other bulls. And going by the timelines, we're getting pretty close to when we pulled him out and hauled him away. So that might be the only bull that came off of Horatio. And we're okay with that. It's a nice calf. It's a bull calf. Nice calf though. So as we stand, he will be all of the calves born in that pen from now on. That's Vaticus. He's our big tall guy. He's very tall, but he's very docile. Throws very good long calves. But he's kind of getting to the end of his run, as you can tell by his ears. It's getting a bit long in the tooth. So Lamar was the cleanup bull. We're getting him retested this spring to see if he stays. It's going to be another week, I think, until Jury's brockle baby starts showing up in that pen. So yeah, and then the other 5 bulls, the other 5 calves in this pen are from Chungus here, Maximus. So that's where we're at. Okay, I blabbed on too long. We're into a bit of a hot spell, so I've got to finish with Mrs. Piper Doug's project in the house and then get back to this. See? Pushing, jumping, silly buggers. There we go. Our first heifer calved. First timer. So this is off of the Hereford bull. But so yeah, there we go. It's our first little micro calf. Yep, first of the heifers. She's just a wee soul. I don't even know if she's 70 pounds. And so that's, like, I don't know if I said in the last video, this is the first of the Hereford calves. So, she's just a wee soul, which is good. Yeah, she had the baby way down there by the evergreens, and she was doting on it, cleaned it. But this lot here, because they're all nosy pokes, they were just crowding, so it was getting dangerous, but the plan was to get them up in here. So yeah, this will be 2 pens eventually, because no doubt we will have 2 at once, probably at some point. But right now, she's got the run of the place, and she's getting the treats. So yeah, the plan is that we're gonna have a little, well, either make a little gate. There'll be one here that kind of hinges there and folds back, and the same on the other side. So then this gate will open out and hook to it, and that will let who's ever in this pen get to the water. So yeah, wee cutie pie. It's so funny going from like a 70-pound calf, and the last calf born was like a 90-pounder. Just a wee soul. Oh, she's got the squids. So yeah, for those wondering, what is the miracle that turned our calf health around? Apart from the Romanson Elite Breeders mineral tubs, it's this stuff. Yes, I never really thought this out. The label's off at this bottle, but I'll put a picture in. So yeah, Baycocks, that's what I was thinking. So yeah, so depending on the size of them, if they are fully 85 to 90 pounds, I'll give them 2 shots of this. I have it set for small to medium calves. That way I can just give a double pump if it's bigger calves. So the wee calf, we're not tagging it and letting it out till tomorrow, just to give a little extra time, her and mama. And hopefully these clowns will get used to having a baby around, so they won't freak out like they did last night. He's a wee rock star. So this was the plan. So yeah, I had this little gate kicking around. It's only, what is that, a 6-foot gate? Probably don't even need that, like half of it. What I end up doing is cutting it in half there, and then fitting an end on either of them, and then having one here and another one on the other side for that gate to swing out and catch. But the downside is all this dang ice. This gate had to kind of come up over it. Like, I probably could trim that last segment of the gate out, save having to do this again. But so yeah, there we go. That's the master plan. So now she can come up and get water. Isn't that right, Tank? Yeah, she's hungry. Been giving her grain, but I think I'll grab her a piece of that. So when they say spring is around the corner, is it a high tensile coiled spring covered in razor blades? Because it's not warm today, and it is blowing an absolute gale. And we've just had our second ginger of the day. One in the big pan, and our second first timer. Now she was doing good. Hey wee puppy, our little micro. She was doing good, but it was taking a couple of minutes longer than I was happy with. And when the calf came out, it was a wee bit lethargic. I know, you got a playpen, pal. So it was probably going to be fine, but as all you ranchers know, if in doubt, get it out. So as you can tell, a wee bit bigger. This is the second of the Hereford calves. So weights are doing good. Like this is right on the money. At 80 pounds, 70 to 80 pounds. It's pretty much where our breeder told us that, because he's a papered bull, so he's got the stats to go with it. So it's a good size, long. I'm hoping it's a bull. You should see, when the next section I'll show you the calf that was born this morning that Mrs. Piper Doug found. It's a big one. If it's not a boy, I'll be shocked. He's a mungo. It's probably another 90 pounder. So, yeah. So, always keep them in the pocket, because you never know. And yes, camera, worth its weight in gold. Okay, I'm going to go and leave her to her business. In here it's quite good, it's quite sheltered, because I think the wind's from that direction. So we're actually quite sheltered in here. So I'll leave her be. There he is. Big lad. Try not to get all jumpy. Mom's pretty good. She's a little wary. Hey big guy. So yeah. Bull calf. He's a red one, right? Red one. So yeah. So this is one of the ones we have to tag today. And yes, absolutely howling gale. She's a little fruity, just to show that we don't all have petted ones here. Okay, I'm just gonna give this one a quick check over and then do the rest. So, gotta print a bit of a retraction here. So we got a little Pip there, and Mum standing by the tree. And then we've got the two gingers here. These are the first timers. These are calved heifers. So 2 out of 18 done so far. So something was kind of niggling at me when looking at this one, as it's starting to get its wheels about it. Reminded me of Lamar, the Red Angus, not the Hereford. And then we went and checked Mrs. Piper Doug's wonderful record keeping, because she is a machine. And yes, I had a sneaking suspicion. We ran Lamar to these heifers for a couple of weeks before we went to pick up Jury, and subsequently the dually truck went on fire. So yeah, these two calves are Lamar's kids. And the reason I know that is because that is what Lamar's kids looked like last year, except they were that and bigger. So this week would be the last chance of any of Lamar's kids. And none of the rest of the girls are looking really close, so fingers crossed there's no more Lamar's kids in this pen. The rest will all be Brockles. Like our Ginger there, she's getting closer. There's a few of them getting closer, but not looking like this week too much. So fingers crossed, from now on it's going to be Brockles. So yeah, retraction. That's why these two are solids. And yeah, there's a few of our little heifers here that are quite happy to let the calves use them as binkers, as soothers. The calves will just bounce around from heifer to heifer. Now the black one, Tank's daughter, this is Gunner, she's doing well. She's got a great bag on her. Yeah, no, this is a funny way to talk about creatures. The red one here, she's not bagging up as quick as what Gunner did, but you can see the bag is really starting to come on. The first day she was not making much of a bag. It's been getting better day by day. So the calf's catching up. We did bottled this calf just to get it going in the first day. Bottled it and gave it its bake-ox. I think I showed that in a previous video. So yeah, it's latching on, it's doing all the things. Mum is being pretty good. She was a little kind of squirrely down at the start. Oh, Eddie. So yeah, that's where we're at. That's why you're not seeing Brockles yet, because there's not a chance of Brockles yet. But there will be. So, end of the sun, warm weather again. Woohoo! That's right. Oh man, I tell you, it makes such a difference having a day like this to do this work. Hey wee man. So, there's 11 in here now. Like I said in the previous video, we're at 14. So yeah, there's one, a newborn over there. There's 2 in the first timers, and so yeah, there's 11 in here. So the reason that there's no cow and calf in here is because in the second timers, once they've had their calf and they're bonded and good to go, they make their way across the road, they get their forever tags, and then they go, because that's Pugsley. Pugsley's in here. That was Ty last year, because Ty, she's one of the legacy cows. And yes, I have my magpie whistle with me. And some people might be like, oh, no, because magpies will actually peck at the calves' navels and actually their anuses and their vaginas too. And yeah, they'll cause their orifices, or however you want to call them. Hey Freddy, here's your girl. They'll cause them to start bleeding and then basically use that as a self-feeder. So yeah, we keep the magpie stick by the pen, and we're usually never very accurate in getting any of them, but at least the noise scares them away for a good while. Isn't that right, Ellie? Another legacy animal. Stumper's his daughter. So yeah, we're getting a good crew in here. Love that tan calf. Got a couple of them in there now. So yeah, we've got a couple of ladies on the watch tonight. One up here, that is Sheena, 71. This is our big cow, this is Ian. She is a ton. She's a ton animal, especially when she's in calf. So yeah, there's a couple in here to watch tonight, but to tell the truth, there's no ifs, ands, or buts. See, that's Sheena. She's got a 7 on her forehead. That's Bowie's mum, actually. Because there's Bowie right there. Because the one that calved yesterday and the one that calved last night were not on the watch list. Bowie's mad at me. She won't let me clap her, even though she's one of the quietest animals in the herd. Why is she mad at me? Because the last one to calve, which is that baby right there, she dropped that calf right on top of that one in the middle of the screen, her calf. She calved yesterday. So she dropped her calf on top of her calf. So then the two of them stood there out in the open, and it was cold last night. It was like minus 22, I think. Stood there, pushing and shoving each other. Meanwhile, the calf was getting cold because mum was not paying attention to her calf getting clean. So I had to drag the older calf and the mum that's now over there, those two, I had to drag them into this pen and then close this gate. Bowie was standing here. I had to push Bowie out of the way because she would not move. And you can't go hitting one of the legacy cows because they'll never forgive you. So yeah, I gently pushed her. I had to put my legs up on the railing there and shove her out of the way. So, who's this? Oh, it's Bud. Hey, Bud. Butters. So yeah, here's number 14. And sadly, oh, she's got a good bag on her. Sadly, we are going to have a lot of calves with questionable ears this year because we've had a lot of bad cold nights. But besides that, they're good and healthy. Anyway, I don't see any magpies coming by, so I don't need to play my whistle, my bagpipe chanter, because that's the end of a wooden magpie whistle. Anyway, let's get on. Gonna have to frisk these girls down, finding beer cans in the pan. Partiers. So yeah, you'll all be pleased to know that we got the big camera fixed. So yeah, it turns out, see if I can do this from here. I've never actually looked to see if this camera can see it. And there. So some of you keen-eyed will be able to tell that's not the same radio antenna. Yeah, So the people that sold us the system, they had another radio, and yeah, they said, here, take this away. If it works, we're still good. So the one thing I wanted to show, it's kind of hard to do this. I'm still trying to get used to how to gimbal. Okay, so that's the newest calf last night. Yeah, by the way, that's calf 15. Yeah, we're rocking and rolling. So that's number 15 there, and there's number 14. Up, Piper Doug, there you go. There's 14. So the one thing I was going to show everybody, I'll try and, yeah, backwards. Yes, I have an ill-tempered cat. Is this. So we've got, not the sky, Doug. We probably could check out the space station from here. We've got full range of these two pens. We can see all the bulls, apart from this big blinking post right here. Nothing we can do about that. We can see some of the, not the sky, Doug. We can see into the second calvers. I got it. This is weird, like trying to film and zoom and not point the camera. So, second calvers, first calvers, like we started the section off with there. Like I said, you can see some of the calved pen, but the funny part is once the calved lot start to be a big enough group, no, not in, out, and then they go out to pasture, we can do this. I gotta scan up, not scan out. So, just so you know, that tree line is a mile away. But that's not really what I was trying to look at. So yeah, this tree pile here is in the paddock east of the yard, down to the ravine at the half-mile mark. So, we'll literally be able to scan the entire pasture. When the babies go out to the field for the first time, we'll be able to keep an eye on them. Yeah, it's kind of cool. I didn't realize these cameras were this good. Like how far they can see. So, yeah, thought you all might like that. Okay, I'll try and get this again. There we go. Not up, down, jeepers. I cannot get that right. There we go. Anyway, so yeah, there you go. Camera's working. Okay. Better wrap this up for this week. Yeah, I know there was 2 videos, but it's been a day. It's been a day. What you're currently looking at is baby number 18. It's in that little pile of straw. It's not a small calf. So, over there is baby 17. Now, she went into labor after she did. But she had a giant calf. As you can see, there's Sheena over there. That's baby number 60. So we've had 3 today. So I had a mum and baby to put through. Baby was to tag. I had a mum and baby to put through. Mum and baby were both to tag. New tags. And so yeah, Sheena calved. She's doing good. This one started calving. Then she stopped calving and decided she wanted Sheena's baby. So then she stopped pushing. So then all of a sudden, Bowie, you guys might have seen me hugging a cow every once in a while in these pens. That's Bowie. That's her up there, big red calf. She had no bag, she had no jiggle. She went up to the back, fished out the water bag. Meanwhile, I had a meeting in the house with our local conservation guy, Ryan Kennard. Hey Ryan. Organizing what our tree planting plans are for the next couple of years, because there's a lot of programs. So this way we're going to get shelter belt put up around this side of the yard, and a bunch of new field works done for our rotational grazing and paddock program. So they'll cover trees and fencing for our rotational grazing program. So how cool is that? They'll cover the costs, and for the most part they'll actually put the fences up too. So gotta like that. So I tried to keep it short and sweet, and as my wife, Mrs. Piper Doug, will tell you, when Ryan and I get together talking about trees, millennia can pass. So by the time we got done and cut her off, went upstairs to the camera to have a quick check, and lo and behold, Bowie had her baby, and had the baby up and cleaned, and the baby was trying to figure out how to drink, but wasn't all that important. This one was still up here after, well, that's actually after I separated her away from Sheena, put Sheena in that pen and closed that gate along there, and chased this one back up here, and she was up, down, laying down, fishing, sucking it back in. So 2 hours had gone by, and yeah, I was starting to get worried. Big problem was, for some reason, a lot of our animals are scared to come into this alleyway. I have a sneaking suspicion that one of the dogs had kind of worried a couple of the cows. That's a whole other story. Anyway, so yeah, so it took me a while to get her to come in here. Look at Mama Flops. Right there. There's Mama Flops right there. Mama Flops helped me. She walked her in here, and then she left. Got her in. I'm telling you, if you ever want to know how tough you are, you try holding on to these for almost half an hour, putting about 50 pounds on each handle. Just starting to get the feeling back in my hands now. And that calf was not doing a lot of moving. It was starting to snuff when I got the nostrils right to the opening, so it was actually starting to breathe. So I got the skin off its nose, and then it stopped snuffing. So a good 5 minutes holding on to these handles after that to get the head out, and that calf wasn't making any more moves. Got the calf out to the pelvis, and I didn't have the machine here. That was probably one of the things, but I don't like using the machine. If we have to use a machine, the cow doesn't have to stay. Or we're using the wrong bull. Anyway, got the calf to the pelvis, and I let the calf hang. That's kind of a trick that I've learned. Let the calf hang by the pelvis. That way it pushes all the blood back up to the head and the heart. And it also helps to drain the mucus out of the calf's chest. And a lot of people say that letting the calf hit the ground hard actually shocks it back to life. And lo and behold, that little sucker just started huffing and puffing. But like I said, it's not small, it's a large calf. I can't tell just how big it is yet, but the feet are huge. But if I can, I'll put the picture in at the end of this video, because I'll be back out tonight after supper, and hopefully by that time the little gadget will be cleaned. Maybe he'll be up on his feet. Mum's doing really well. Kind of wasn't really her fault. Like the baby couldn't get its head into the pelvis opening. That was the weird part. Big mungo head on it. But like I said, I'll put a picture in the end. Anyway, I've rabbited on too long. So yeah, we're at 18 now, 2 weeks in. And yeah, there is 13 in this pen now. 13 in here, 3 in here, and 2 over here. So, going good. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you come back next week. And don't forget to subscribe and tell your friends. Teddy bye.